Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're not going to start on that one. We're going to start on that one. Hello, welcome back to the live stream. Tonight, we are going to be giving away these, a brand new set of CaddX Goggles X. They are still sealed. They are not opened. They are untouched other than externally by myself, so you might want to use some wet wipes. We're going to talk a bit about this at the start of the stream. First of all, we're going to talk about the new VTX that CaddX have released as well. We will touch a little bit more about the CaddX Gimbals because there's another brand available as well, which looks very similar. We're going to talk about a frame that I've been sent by It's FPV that I crashed and almost lost today, twice I may add. And as always, we're going to talk about a few other things. Now, before I get on with this, I need to get some stuff out of the way. This is the first time... Oh, echo, echo, echo. Someone is saying echo? Ooh, echo. That's weird. Let me just check something. There's no good reason for echo. Ooh, OBS has done something weird. Yeah, no echo. Oh, right, okay. I'm going to do something just in case. So I'm going to turn that off. There you go. I'm going to turn off the other microphone. So, what we're going to do first of all is get the rules and how you can win these out of the way. Now, there's some stuff I need to go through first of all, some housekeeping. The most important thing is making sure that you understand. Now, you are not required to be a subscriber of the channel. You are not required to pay. You are not required to give me anything. There is only one requirement. I need you to register on a Google form, which I'll explain about in a minute. I'm also going to walk you through the rules of it as well, because there's some stuff around this that we have to do. Make sure that we cover all of the bases. So, let me go to the desktop a minute. So, what I'm going to ask you to do to enter this competition, I'm going to share with you a Google form. Okay? In this Google form, I need 3 pieces of information from you. I need a name, a user ID, or some form of identification, i.e. what you want me to call you. It doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to be your actual name. I just need something to be able to call you on stream. Please keep it clean. Secondly, this giveaway is only for the following countries, and I apologize to anyone who is outside of these, but this is the only places I can post this. The UK, the USA, Canada, or EU. I am sorry if you are outside of those regions, but I cannot ship to those regions. I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible. I am going to ask you for an email address because I need your email address to contact you. I did think about doing this via the user IDs in YouTube. However, there's a risk that someone else would contact. So really simple. I need your email address and you need to agree to the rules. And I'm going to share this in the chat in a minute. Now, you can enter this more than once. In fact, I'm going to allow people to enter it up to 3 times. And the reason I'm going to do that is this. No one wants to be number 1, number 2, number 3. So I'm going to say you can do 3 entries. Okay, so throughout this stream, you can do it once, you can do it again, and you can do it again. Just 3 entries, okay? I am going to give away 1 set of CaddX FPV goggles. The winner will be chosen at random in this stream. What we will do is we will collate it all. It's in a Google sheet. I'm then going to use a random number picker, and whatever number equates to the line, that is the person who wins. You must be in the UK, USA, Canada, or EU. I will pay the postage. I've set up to $34, 40 quid. Look, I'll cover the postage to the EU, US. You, though, are responsible for any tax, import duties that are due. I am not paying the import duties. That is on your one. I will make sure that it's posted in the best possible way, but the rest of it's on you. There are no swaps. It is these goggles. There is no cash equivalent replacement. It is these. It is what you see here today. I've said there you can enter up to 5 times. It's 3 times. It should say 3 and it says 5. So that's going to change in 2 seconds time before you get this. 3 times, not 5. I also need to confirm YouTube is not a sponsor of this giveaway. And CaddX, whilst they have technically provided me these goggles, they're not really a sponsor of the giveaway. These goggles were an offer that was given to me, right, as a compensation for them messing me about over the replacement board. What I said was, I don't want another set of goggles. However, how about I give them away on my channel? And they said yes. They were going to send them to me anyway. I do want to say a big thank you, though, to CaddX for sending them over. They did provide them, but there is no sponsorship agreement here. I did not agree to anything. All I said was they offered a set of goggles. I went, well, I don't need them, but are you happy if I give them away on the channel? They said yes. There you go. That's as far as it goes with CaddX. Now, before I share this with you, I need to fix the Google form, which I have fixed once, and I don't know why this isn't showing the correct thing when I actually have changed. I had a really strange thing happen today. I made a load of changes on stuff, right? And it didn't change. And it didn't save, including listed this live stream. So, I am going to, in 2 places, share the link to this form. I am going to share the link in the chat, and I'm going to also put the link in the live stream. I probably, actually, shall I pin it in the comments? Can I pin to the comments? I'm going to put it here. Boom. There it is. I've pinned it to the top. It is there. Up to 3 times throughout the stream. Because no one wants to be number 1. And someone's got to be number 1. It's a reality, okay? However, 3 times. I do have a checker on it as well to make sure if you have done it over 3 times. Look, it's 3 times. The rule is 3 times. I've adjusted the wording. It should be right. It should be right. You can enter it to 5. Where they go. I'm going to live edit it now. There you go. I changed this earlier, and what's really annoying is, there you go. Done, adjusted, sorted. It was in 3 places. So, throughout the stream, do it, and what we're going to do at the end, and this is what I'm going to do, really simply, everything comes in on a Google form. I'm then going to hide the personal data. I'm then going to use a random number picker, and the random number picker we will use will be random.org. We will put into this the minimum, the highest, which is the amount of entries, and then we will click generate a result, and we'll get a number, and whoever is on that line number wins the goggles. Your sister lives in Spain. If I win, can you ship there? Give me a Spain address. That's fine. I will ship to the UK, United States of America, Canada, or EU. So, I'm going to keep it really simple. As I've said, no one wants to be the start or the end. Now, just to be clear, there is a privacy policy for this in the description. In the privacy policy, just to be clear, so I will be deleting all of your email addresses at the end. Once this is finished, you will not be getting spam. They will not be going anywhere, but there is a privacy policy there as well if you want it. So, there we go. So, that's it. We're going to give them away. Brand new set of Goggles X. I would hope if you enter, you want them. I'd rather people didn't win them and sell them. At the end of the day, I can't stop it. What I would say is, please only enter if you intend to use them. That's about as much as I'm going to say on this matter. And it's as simple as that. If you want to be signed up to my OnlyFans page, I can arrange some pics to be sent out to you. And it's as simple as that. So they're going to sit there and we're going to get on with the show, and I will mention it throughout the show. Yes, as long as you've registered on the Google form, the winner will be picked. You don't have to be here. I will say who the winner is on stream, and I will contact you via the email address. It's that simple. That's it. Nice and easy, nice and done. As I've said 3 times, do it as the stream goes on. That way you've got a nice gap between the entries. Lon only wants the pics. No swaps, Lon. I said there's no alternatives available. Not even nudes, okay? So we're not going to be doing that. It's a username name. I just need something. When it comes to posting, I'm going to need your name and address, but I only need that of the winner. When it comes to the name you put in this, I just need something to call you. Bilbo Baggins, I don't care. I just need a name to be able to say on the live stream. Please try and keep it clean, as all I would ask, okay? So it's as simple as that. So you got the whole stream, and then we'll pull them at the end. So just try and keep it clean. I just need a name to give you on stream. So that's these, brand new. I do want to say a big thank you to CaddX, right? So CaddX didn't send me the board to fix the goggles, but they did send these for all the messing around. As I've said, it's not sponsored by CaddX. It's not sponsored by YouTube, but I should say a big thank you to them because I wouldn't be able to give them away without it. And hopefully someone will enjoy them. Yeah, simple as that. So I'm going to pop them out of the way a minute. Okay. So to get on with the usual. Now, I just want to say something at the start of this stream before we move forward. You may have seen I put out a video this week, which has been rather controversial. Now, that video will be coming down probably tomorrow. I'm not really going to go into anything further on that video, but I've said my bit, okay? And everyone has an opinion. They're like orifices. We all have one. I've said my bit and how I feel. But what I'm not going to do is leave the video up forever. I think I've said my bit, and that's really it. What I have done, though, is put something else on the community page, which will stay there as well. But I don't really want it to be of an ongoing indictment on the channel. And it's just, look, it drives a lot of interesting traffic. I've had all sorts of comments this week. I've had some nice comments. I've had some bad comments. I've had all sorts. And in the end, I've said my bit. My feelings haven't changed. My feelings are very simple on this. And the thing I want to do is this. This isn't about Ukraine, Russia, and this. This is about my personal belief of what companies who sell products should behave like. Ignore the rest of it. Ignore Ukraine and all of this stuff. It's not about that. It's about that. But look, so that's the stance. I've said my bit on it. We're moving on. So the first thing we are going to talk about after the competition, and I've just noticed that my other camera isn't working. So we're going to go to the desktop. And we're going to talk about CaddX again. Cool, they're getting their money's worth today, aren't they? Let's be honest. There we go. So, this week, CaddX released... Released is sort of a loose word. Oh, yeah, well, I'll talk about that as well in a minute, Sully. Released is a soft. Soft launch is the term I'll use, which is the Avatar GT kit. Now, this is their new 2-watt VTX. The crazy thing is, we've known about this for quite a long time. It's been in and out of the firmware forever, and they've sort of officially pushed it out. I've known about this officially for quite a long time. It's actually... This was seen in some marketing videos of CaddX a little while ago as well, for those who hadn't seen it. So this has been around. The price of it is available for £179, and this is a bit of an interesting mix because it's not a Moonlight, doesn't do 4K recording. It does up to 2 watt of RF output. It's basically a standard VTX with up to 2 watt of RF output is the basic term. Now, this really isn't aimed for quads, if I'm honest. If we look at this, it's wing use. It might go on a 10-inch, but you're not going to be squeezing this into the back of a 5-inch, put it that way. It does, though, have some interesting features, and some of this we don't fully understand yet. Obviously, we have the VTX, we have the cooling fan on top to try and keep it under thermal control. There is an SD card slot on the side, and there has been some reviews and overview videos put out this week. I'm going to steer away from the controversy that I cause on that one. But there has been some from CaddX's in-house testers. And some of the things that we know is the SD card isn't latching, which just seems dumb as hell to me. There's also a few quirks around it as well with the wiring. It also has, and I don't fully understand why they've done this yet, and I need to dig into this a lot more. Because it's such a high-power VTX, for low-power mode, it has internal ceramic antennas that optimize performance during low-power mode, minimize power consumption and heat generation. Now, the comments from the testers say, basically, it will not overheat now in low-power mode. Okay, just will not overheat in low power mode. However, the range in low power mode is incredibly low. Now, I need to understand what they've done with the RF front end on this, because my logic is if you're powering down the PAs, why would you just not have them going into the main antennas and use that rather than these antennas? The feedback has been it is extremely low range, like a few feet. You've literally got to be on top of the quad when in low power mode for it to connect. That could be a problem for some people. Could be a problem for wing users if you're throwing. Should be okay, but you're just going to have to be careful. Actually, you wouldn't throw in low power mode. What am I talking about? I'm talking nonsense. What I suspect they're doing is actually powering down the PAs and switching to the second set of antennas is what I suspect they're doing. And what you find is a lot of the internal sort of the IE2000 and the switching devices and the PAs actually have switches built in. So I suspect they're switching over from one to the other. But it's quite interesting. Not seen it before. I think part of the range issue is going to be caused by the fact that these are inside a metal casing. That's not going to help. I do wonder if there'd be an improvement if there was more of an open area around them, but we're going to have to wait and see. And overall, look, there's nothing dramatic to show you here other than the pure RF power. There are some weird quirks to this, though, that are going to catch people out. And if we look at them, it's mostly around the wiring, actually. So if you look, you've got your main input, which is a connector. Okay? So you've got your input voltage, 3 to 6S. And then you've got your UART. You've got spare pads for your UART up here. And then you've got a 5-volt output for the fan up here. But this could easily be confused with a connected input and a padded input. And I'm really not sure what CaddX were thinking on this. Now, the fan does come pre-wired to those ports. Okay, so you shouldn't get it wrong. But it is worth taking that into account. What is also a little bit weird is their wording on the UARTs. They're calling them TX and RX2. It's not 2 sets of UARTs. It's 1 set of UARTs, yet they're labeled TX and RX2 on both sides. Bit weird. They were going to put some goop over the final pads on the final version. Yeah, it's about the only thing I think, as long as you read the instructions, nothing will go wrong. And a wire will come pre-soldered to it anyway. Maximum RF output is 33 dBm. It's still registered to 700 milliwatts in FCC, but unlocked, it apparently will go to 33 dBm. Obviously, we've had no power testing yet. We don't really know the ins and outs of the RF power front-end setup. Really, that's about all there is to say on it. We have a very high-power VTX, which is good to see. Okay. Now, from what I understand is there is no hints of any problems with this high RF power. And if you remember, the early Avatar VTXs on 1200 milliwatts mode didn't behave very well. And there are some complicated reasons for that. And it's partly to do with the difference in signal levels in the OFDM carriers. And what I mean by that is you got to take into account OFDM may be QAM 64, 128, 256. Not only do you have up to 256 individual carriers, but the amplitude of the carriers is used to determine the phases between the carriers and then make up the data. I'm going to keep it that simple rather than go too much down the rabbit hole. So you may have one carrier where a 0 is low and a 1 is at midpoint. And you may have another carrier where a 0 is at 0 and 1 is at the high point. And what you can get with high levels of amplification is a narrowing of the gap between the phases of the amplitude in the carriers, and that causes a problem. And this is why high amplification in OFDM is hard to do. It's even harder to do after the fact. Okay? And what I mean by that is re-amplifying after a set of PAs is really hard. Now, what we don't know is what CaddX are doing here. We know the PAs that you're using on standard VTXs, DJI and Avatar, they're all using the Skyworks amps, traditionally designed for Wi-Fi. They top out at about 26 to 30 dBm of gain. The thing to understand with those amps is it isn't how much power they can put out, it's how much gain they can produce based on the input signal. So it's not as simple as saying it tops out as 1,000 milliwatts or 1,200 milliwatts. The top out is usually up to sort of 2.5 watts, depending on the input. So that's the complication. What we don't know, though, is what CaddX have done here. Now, I am suspicious they're using a push-pull design for their power amplifier. We've never seen that done on Avatar and DJI before. We have actually seen that in HD0. If we go to FPV Wiki, right, I can actually show you this. So the way DJI and Avatar HD, and if you don't know, FPV Wiki is my website. If we go to the Moonlight VTX, actually, let's go to the Avatar HD VTX. So if we look at one of the standard ones with dual PAs, or single PA. So here's a single one. So you got your power amplifier, the Skyworks, exactly the same as DJI. Single amplifier out. On the dual amp VTX, the dual antenna one, let me just find it. We'll go for that one there. You've got two independent amplification stages, but they're behaving independently. What you do have, though, is what is known as a push-pull setup. And, for instance, HD0 have done this on their 1 watt on their big VTXs. So if we look here, you'll see that there are two power amplifiers in parallel. So what you actually do is parallel up the amps. So if I just show you here, the output train goes down to here into this filter, and the output train goes down here, down there into the filter on both sides. On the input, it's exactly the same as well. So the RF is coming in here, into here, and then it is split equally into the power amplifiers. And there's a phenomenon which is known as push-pull, which is the overall physical RF power remains the same, but the gain factor doubles. So what this means is that the physical RF is the same. So if you were to stick it on a power meter, it will measure the half RF power amount if you did it this way. But the physical RF signal gain doubles, and in equivalent gives you twice as much power and range. But it's complicated. Now, I suspect they're using something like this. is what I suspect. It's all part of the usual RF Blackmagic world, but yeah, this is what HD0 do. So they parallel them up, and it's called a push-pull configuration for RF power amplification. And I suspect this is what they're doing. Now, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't got one yet. You basically can't measure the RF power anyway. On digital easy. You can on HD0, but not on digital. But there's no easy way. You basically can't measure OFDM anyway. You just can't. There's no good way of measuring OFDM. But I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to order one. I'll do my usual content on it. What you're not going to see is a long range and really a penetration video. I'm going to be honest, this is well outside what's legal in the UK. What I am going to do is bench testing, and I will give you my opinions based on that. I know there's been some videos of incredible range posted on this. So if you look on YouTube, there's, I think, a 54-kilometer test on it. I think it was... if we go to YouTube, we'll have a look. There's been some big... There's one of the videos there from Bonafide Pirate. Someone had posted one on Facebook, but I don't know if it's on YouTube, actually. I'm sure it was 55 kilometers. It's definitely somewhere. Definitely somewhere. Not only range, but yeah, look, it's a chunk of power, put it that way. Really, this isn't for quad use. Bonafide Pirate has his video here. Let me just mute it. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I'd suggest checking it out. I can't comment about Mr. Varty. He's a very naughty boy. So you're seeing it there. It's a chunky thing. There are some silly design choices. I don't get why it wouldn't have a latch-in SD card. Why would you change that? Just why would you change that? But that gives you a good view of it there with the fan on top. So, yeah, look, what's not to like? This is absolutely a product that I approve of from CaddX. In the sense of stuff like this is good. Stuff like this is really good. We like that. We like that indeed. Now. Someone's posted it. Thank you, my friend. There is a 55-kilometer video, which is incredible in itself. Where's he here? How far is he here? Let's have a look. Where's the range? I'm blind. Where's the range? Oh, he's up there. Sorry, couldn't see it. So at 51... So let's have a look. Where was he at 45 kilometers? So he did the bit rate did drop down. So wait there. If we just have a look. So at 25 kilometers, let's go full screen. So the bit rate still dropped down quite quickly. That's quite interesting, okay? So I'm going to just press play. It's not a long video. So if we look here, you can see he's got 25. Did he start in 25? He didn't use 50 megabits a second then. Interesting. Okay, I wonder what it's like on 15. So he's at 25 megabits a second. Starts to drop off at 12 kilometers. Okay. So it's 12 kilometers. He basically starts to see the bit rate. We're down to... starting to drop off at 7 at 16. So the bit rate comes off quite quickly looking at this. You know, you can see there we're at 14, 7.8, 14. Okay, which is okay. So the distance is in the top center here to home. 7. So look. So if you think he's when did it get to 7? Let's go back a little. Yeah. So he's at. When was that big drop down to 7? When it's there. So 22 kilometers. It pretty much stayed at 7. Okay, which is interesting. So when does he drop down? So 7, 7, 7. So he's at 35 kilometers, and it starts dropping quite quickly down to 1 megabit a second on the bit rate. Which is interesting, look, because look at this. He's at half a meg at 38 kilometers. Yet he basically is able to stick another 20 kilometers on it at this point. Okay, it's not quite 17 kilometers, but still 17 kilometers. That's incredible. That bit is incredible. What is actually really interesting is, at this point, something to note is DJI would be mush at 1 megabit a second. I wonder if it's not reading the data rate right. Because DJI 03 will be pretty much mush at 1 megabits a second. It starts really blocking up. Really blocking up. But this looks okay. Okay, look. There's not great detail there. He says he guesses DVR. No, this is goggle side. This is goggle side. I guess. Is it goggle side or not? It must be goggle side. It must be goggle side. Because look, he's dropped there. OSD locks up at the 51 kilometer, but he still has video. So the data rate is really struggling. So the OSD is locked up, but he still has video. That is nuts. That is nuts. What is actually very impressive here is how it goes on 1 megabit a second. That is crazy. And look, let's be honest. We've not seen. It could. I guess this could be DVR with overlay. Perhaps it is. Someone will have to confirm. I don't know. Perhaps it is OSD overlay on the DVR video. It'll be a shame if that is the case, because I would have liked to have seen the actual live feed. If that is the case, but I don't know. He said it was direct feed to his laptop. Okay. Very interesting. That's crazy. That is incredible. I'll be honest. So, yeah, quite a bit of kit. Quite the bit of kit. So, price-wise, it's actually fairly good for the money. You're talking $179, and that is coming with the... Which camera are they shipping with it? I haven't actually looked. It's not a new camera again, is it? Have they added another camera again, or is it the standard camera? Pro cam, good. Yeah. Just curious, you know a lot about CaddX stuff. sort of do, yeah. It's a fair comment to say. Doesn't look like the Pro camera, though. Is that the Pro camera? It looks slightly different. Quite nice indeed. Quite nice indeed. So, that is the CaddX VTX. Now, I'm going to just do a quick plug for this. So, for those who've just come in and new, we are giving a set of these away tonight. At the start is the terms and conditions. If you want to have a chance to win, you can enter up to 3 times. There is a Google form pinned to the top of this chat. Just simply complete the Google form. You can do it up to 3 times throughout the stream. You don't have to do it all at the same time. Separate it so your numbers in the lines get in different places. It's all going to come into a Google Sheet. Then I am going to use a random number generator, and whatever number equates to the line, the person on that line wins. Simple as that. So just a reminder, the terms and conditions are at the start. I'm going to have a quick look. How many have we had? We have had, oh my God. My God, we have had 700 entries so far. Now, let me see if I get to tell someone off. There's a 4. There's a 4. I'm going to have to hunt someone down. Who are you? Well, someone has done it 82 times, so you are going to get disqualified, okay? And there's a few 4s. So who is the person that did it? I'm not going to read out your email address. You're in Germany, that I know, right? So the person who has done it 82 times, sorry, is El Flecko. I'm sorry, my man. 3 times. You do realise I can delete the entries. Can you share a link to the form? The link is pinned to the top of the chat. So now I have to remove that person. 82 times, sorry, he has tried. So now I'm just going to go a quick edit on the form. And this is why, right? This is why I use Google Forms. And this is why I use Google Sheets. Because I can edit it. So let me just get to the top. I'm going to filter. I can't show you because it's got everyone's personal details in. But we're going to find our friend. Actually, I can't do it until the end because new entries keep coming in. Oh, God. This is why I use a Google form and a Google Sheet. So I will adjust that at the end. I do not see. Can anyone point to where the Google form? It should be pinned at the top of this chat. If you can't see it at the top of this chat, it is pinned. There is a pinned chat message. Here is the link again. "82 times. 82 times. Really? Really? So I will have to tidy that up before the end. I only did it 81 times. Right. Anywho. We will come back. It's actually pretty impressive. You've got to admit. It is actually pretty impressive. You tried to do nice things. This is why you can't do nice things, you see. This is just why. I mean, you could script that. Yeah, look, I'll just filter it. Look, what we will do at the end is I will be closing the sheet, and then I will remove the less 3. He gets 3, and then we will go from there. Anywho, right. He's in FCC mode. Yeah, that's for sure. Next, moving on. Right. You may have noticed last week, CaddX also released a set of gimbals. Right, let me just show you this because something very interesting happened. So CaddX also released a set of gimbals, which they're calling their GM series. 3 versions available: GM1, GM2, GM3, single axis, dual axis, triple axis. Okay. However, a company called, well, I don't even know how I call it, right? I'm going to be honest. I don't even know how to say, appear to have exactly the same product. However, not only do they have the same product, they have them available for DJI O3 as well. You have the single axis, the C20, the C20D, and the C20T. They also have the head tracker available as well, which is a separate item. And they are sending me some over to take a look at. They reached out to me. I didn't actually reach out to them. They reached out to me. And after I spoke about the CaddX ones, and they're going to say over. Now, they are available for DJI O3 or Avatar HD. And I'll be honest, it's identical to the CaddX gimbal. So, I think what this probably means is CaddX have not manufactured the gimbal, and CaddX are OEM purchasing the gimbal, and these might be the manufacturer. Is that... Yeah, I can't even say it, Duncan, but yes. Are they actually for order anyway? Not that I've seen, and when I get them in, I'll ask them what the situation is. What they do have, though, is the software and information on the website. They've got blueprints for the model. They've even got a step file, actually, which is nice to see. They've got video and photo. They've got quite a lot of info there. So, yeah, I don't know. Quite interesting indeed. So they're sending them over. I don't have the CaddX ones. I don't know if I'm getting the CaddX ones. Yeah, it's interesting, though, that they are out there. They also have the head tracking box available as well, which is that there. So, again, that's designed to be attached. I'm going to have to take a look at. Will McGarvey said, are these mostly for cars? What would the mounting frame be? Yeah, really cars and planes. People like on cars and planes. Really, wings. Just something you want to look around on. You're not going to stick one on a 5-inch, put it that way. Quite interesting, though, that they are available. And yeah. Really, it's as simple as that. Now, there's really not a lot more to say on that subject other than that. Now, whilst I am on CaddX, I want to finish on one thing for CaddX. Okay? And that is that they did put out two things this week, actually. I need to find both of them. Okay? So, there are 2 things that were shared this week. One of them is their post on that they've fixed the Avatar goggles. You've got this post here by CaddX. which says, we've received numbers of messages about last year's promise regarding the Goggles X. Firstly, thank you for being concerned about Goggles X all the time. We never forget our promise at any time. Frankly, our R&D team has been working around the clock since last year to fulfill these promises. Whilst not an easy task for us, I could say something on that, but I won't. During some time, people gave up and others quietly persevered. But now we can finally announce that the Goggles X head tracking and compatible analog module have been developed. We always prioritize our users. So, there's an analog module and head tracking coming. They are sending me it. I don't really know what it's about. I haven't seen it. I'll let you know when it comes. I do sort of think they've jumped the gun with the Post, but to be fair to them, I've hit on them quite hard recently, so I should be fair. What was also interesting, and I'm trying to find the picture of this, actually. Wait a minute. It's on my phone. There was something shared as well, and I'm going to post it on my Discord, because if I post it on my Discord, I can easily find it then. There it is. Discord. Let me find it. It's just vanished. Now, this was published by CaddX and was taken down pretty quickly. And it's a unit in partnership with Iron Quad. It's called the Explorer HD RTR FPV kit. I don't know what it's about. I don't know anything about this other than what you're seeing here. What you're definitely seeing is a much better image of these apparent new goggles that seems to be coming. This is probably the best image that we've seen of these goggles. Yeah, this is on top of an RC crawler. It clearly has head tracking. And yeah, quite interesting indeed. Powered by CaddX, made by Iron Quad. But what they'd leaked was the goggles at the top. Now, it does appear to be a set of box goggles. I tell you something, that almost looks like a module bay at the top there. There's also a Cylon light at the front, and I'm going to say this now. If that doesn't go back and forth with a red flashing light, I am going to be deeply upset. That needs to pulse back and forth, please. That better have color changing LEDs in it, or I'm going to be deeply upset. Tracker bay, perhaps? Yeah, not sure. That just looks like a module. There's not really a lot to see. Yeah, absolutely fracking toasters. But yeah, I'll be honest, the design doesn't look too bad. Design doesn't look too bad at all. But this is as real close to a channel indicator would be nice. Yeah. I don't know if this was meant to leak or not. I don't know when this is coming. I don't really know anything about it other than what you see here. Okay. So, that is pretty much the CaddX news today. There's been a lot of CaddX news this week. Yeah, I didn't have space in the DJI, the wording for the DJI bike, but we will talk about it because it's worth a chat. What is the cheapest VTX for the CaddX goggles? The cheapest thing is sub $100. If we have a look, I believe it's sub $100. Yeah, you can get the Mini 1S Lite for $89. So the Mini 1S Lite is $89. The HD Mini 1S kit is $99. The Nano V3 is 109, and then the bigger VTXs are 139, and the Pro is 159. So that's, or you can get the VTXs on their own as priced here. VTX plus cam, yeah, is 89 for the 1S kit. Has the VRX had any updates since a few months ago? I have the module and a Whoop, no Goggles X, just some DOM 3s. Doubting I can comfortably use it because of latency. Nano VTX for 4S or use a buck? I tend to use a buck. How's the dual extruder setup testing? Okay, I've been doing a bit on it this week. I'll be talking about that in a the review will be coming soon, but so far no real issues. HDO 2.1. Yes, very good. So, okay, that's that. Let me just make sure where I'm at. Now, if you guys have any questions, now's the time to put them in the chat. I will try and answer them. We've talked about that. Why? Ah, yes. DJI Gimbals. Why did I put DJI Gimbals? They're not DJI Gimbals. DJI Action 4's coming. For those who haven't seen, there is a bit of DJI news this week. I'll get that ready while we while I wait for the questions to come in. DJI did release an e-bike. What we have also had is the first thing I'll show you is this. So we have had sorry, let me just try and get this to behave. This website has a lot of bloody ads on it at times. So we have had the FCC leak for the DJI Action 4 Pro. Now, something that's very interesting about this, and I'm going to grab myself a drink while I talk about this, right? So, when you look at this, for starters, DJI are calling this the Osmo Action. Sorry, 5. Sorry, I could be talking 5. I might be talking nonsense. Let me just find the E-label. Here it is. Yeah, sorry, 5, not 4. I forgot there's a 4. So, the Osmo Action 5 Pro. So we have the FCC. Now, there's a couple of things here that are quite interesting, and I'm going to check this now, actually, because... So, what did DJI call the Action 4? Is it called the Osmo Action 4? I didn't think it was. Oh, it was. Sorry, it's me. Yeah, Osmo Action 4. Osmo Action 3. So, yeah, it was Osmo Action. Okay, I thought they'd changed the name a bit. So, Osmo Action 5 Pro. Now, we've got no pictures. We've got nothing. But what is quite interesting about this, we can learn a little bit from the power usage. So, if we look at the 4 a minute. Okay, so let's find the 4. Osmo Action 4. And the fact they're calling it a Pro is leading us to think it's going to be something fairly decent. If we look at the E-label... Okay, just wait for this to wake up. Okay, so for starters... This is 6.81 watt-hour, the original one. Now, this doesn't have all of the information in like the other one, but 5 to 9 volt, 3 amp max. This is powered by 3.85, 1700 milliamp hour. That is a lot of power requirement. A lot of power requirement. I don't think that's going to be a small camera. I think this is probably going to be something a little bit bigger. I'm not sure you're going to be seeing this for drone use. Lon has just said the good news is that it has the same sensor as the A3 and Pocket 3. Nice for small scale creators. This feels a bit bigger than what we might used to. So, same sensor as the A3S. That's not... So, we're talking a 1-inch sensor then on that. The A3 is 1 inch, isn't it? Yeah, it's a lot of power. Do you know what? I wouldn't mind trying this. What size sensor have they put in this? I haven't... Where? 1 inch. So it's going to be 1 inch. Thought it would be. So it's going to have a 1-inch sensor. That's going to be a big camera. A3 is 3/4. It could be the charging input, but it's still a very high charging input. I could be wrong, right? But just from that, and that could be charging input. Yeah, I know a 1-inch sensor isn't an inch. But that's still quite a lot of power. It just got me thinking. Quite a lot of power. Could be explained, though, by the fact if it's got a 1-inch sensor. Because it's going to need it. And the very fact that DJI are calling this Pro is very, very interesting in itself. Very, very interesting. Because that tells you there's going to be a standard model. There's going to be a high-end model. And this could have some... You know, look, could you see some ProRes recording here or something like that, potentially? Or higher codecs? You know, you could be talking 400 megabits a second, something like that. I could be wrong, but the fact DJI are labeling it Pro, if I was a betting man, I would put money on it's going to have some Pro features. So recording bit rates, ProRes RAW, something like that. Yeah, as Spang FPV just said. Pro GoPro. So, yeah, that's quite interesting in itself. We will come on to the DJI bike in a minute. We're getting some... I think this is for motorbikes, cars, and action sports. It could be. Or we just have the 5 Pro and only forget about the standard. Yeah, we need a Naked Action 4. Let me just go back up on the chat a minute. Does the Action 5 Pro have a removable battery? We don't know. No one knows anything. It'll be in the hands of KOLs probably now. Am I going to FPV with the DJI bicycle? How long do I think it will take for the DJI Goggles 3 to finally get DJI O3 support? It's a hard question. I don't know. My understanding of things is that DJI have basically done it. They've basically done it. It's just they chose not to push it out in the last update. I think... you got to wait and see how long it takes to sell the other goggles out. I'll be honest. This will probably be a marketing thing more than anything. And they'll be waiting to see how long it takes to sell the goggles. 1DFGA, there's no information, right? So there's no point asking questions because we don't know. The only information we have is what I showed you on that screen. ProTech. No licenses. We don't know. Look. No one knows anything about this camera other than the guys who probably already have it in hands. Someone has managed to bind 03 to goggles, haven't they? I haven't seen it. Someone said they've seen it on Reddit. If you got a link, someone on Reddit have done it. Right. My understanding is the firmware basically has it, but DJI have not activated it yet. Where did I get the t-shirt from? This is a Fly Tribe t-shirt. The amazing guys over at Fly Tribe sent it to me. If you want to be able to get these t-shirts or many of the others that I have worn on this channel. For those who don't know, Fly Tribe have their digital magazine, but they also have their clothes as well. Don't show. Go away. You can go down and you can buy the merch. They've got this t-shirt here. You got the knuckles. You've got all the other t-shirts available as well. You may have... Oh, I like the blue. You may have seen me wear these in various videos on the channel. You can get the t-shirt with a hard copy of the magazine as well, depending on your subscription choice. It is absolutely worth a look. It is amazing. It is an amazing, amazing magazine. Please check it out. Coffee style magazine. It is. It is. Just to give you an idea of the magazine, I've got one here. This is just one of the ones on my side here. If I go here, to give you an idea of the size of the magazine, let's zoom out. This is the Fly Tribe mag. Incredible glossy images, beautifully put together. An incredible magazine, an amazing read, honestly. And you can get it as well with the t-shirts and everything else. So yeah, well worth a look. Well, it's really, the imagery in these is just incredible. Honestly, the imagery is just incredible. So much to like. So much to like. The imagery just blows me away. I keep saying it, but it really does. Just blows me away. It's a dope magazine. Yoni says that. Not saying it. The photos are just, honestly, some of them are the most amazing photography. Absolutely worth a look. You can subscribe to the magazine, get the t-shirt, write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. You can do them all. And again, the t-shirts are really well priced, $20, which is, and they're great quality. I'll be honest, I wear these a lot. They are great quality. Right, catch up with the chat. Going down. Anyone extracted the 04 Cam and VTX from the Avata 2? So, okay. I've seen people sort of commenting on that. Right. Something to understand about the Avata 2. There is no VTX in the Avata 2. The Avata 2 is a ready-to-fly drone. DJI do not make their drones from taking their FPV products, from taking their VTX and putting it inside and then putting a flight controller in. They don't build it like we build FPV. In the Avata 2 is basically two boards. There's an ESC and power input board. There's three boards, actually. ESC and power input, GPS, and overall flight control and video board. Whilst in the past, DJI drones had lots of boards, today, DJI drones are basically completely integrated. There is no 04 VTX in there. There is just an Avata 2 main board. So you can't take a VTX out. You can't take out what doesn't exist. So you can't separate them off. Right, let me just go back up on the chat. Blade Breakers FPV, how are you? I have an issue with T-motor stack. One of my motors arms itself and spins full throttle without any command. Take the ESC and bin it. Anything can cause the issue. Shorted FETs. Take the ESC and bin it. Don't risk it. It's basically non-repairable. If the second you plug the battery in, it spins up, just don't risk it. Bin it. I know it's money. I know it's not great. The chances are the FETs are shorted. If it's doing it every single time you plug it in, the FETs are shorted. Something's wrong. The battery straps look nice. They are. The battery straps are really nice. Can I share links for the source? Sorry, for what? Can you share links for source? I don't know what you're talking about. Tanju. Don't forget the DJI bike is geofenced. Just wish Fly Tribe had a UK distributor. Oh, very nice. Pops off. Might be in there soon. Have I tried cutting any carbon sheet? No, I'm waiting for it to come from Ali. It's on its way over. DJ, yeah, look, okay, James, Junus did it with the Junus didn't do that. Junus completely hacked the shit out of the firmware and told it was an O3 air unit only. The way, I'm not saying, what Junus did was basically, the thing to understand with the Avata and the Avata 2 is basically the O3 air unit is the DJI Avata. It's missing an ESC, it's missing a GPS module. But DJI actually run the flight stack on the same hardware as the video processing. So, because the hardware is basically the same, what Junus did was flashed it, forced it, I may add, to believe that it was the O3A unit and not the Avata drone. This isn't something anyone other than probably Junus can do, or a very small number of people. What there isn't is a separate VTX in there. It is all in one unit. And in fact, the Avata 2 is even more integrated than the Avata 1 in that regard. So you can't take what Junus did is, I took the air unit out of it. Junus being Junus completely hacked the shit of the firmware and basically turned it into an O3 air unit. Because what DJI did on the Avata, and the Avata 2 somewhat, is very clever. It's actually quite interesting. The Avata, DJI sort of built like a bit of an all-in-one, the same as O3, but they changed it later. Whereas the Avata 2 is completely different. Will FPV WTF work with the DJI bike? Well, I have some news on that, which we'll talk about in a minute. I am a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for that. DJI bike is not FCC certified. Can you enter with 2 different emails? That's cheating. Well, no. Use the same email, please. What's required to upgrade an old Chimera 7 with the original air unit to O3 to be able to run longer range antennas? You could just swap the air unit out. It's not hard to swap it out, but you just need to make sure your goggles support them. Vista isn't waterproof, but will survive a dunk if you take the steps. Yes, it can. O3 has an IMU, time to add an ESC. Yeah, technically it doesn't. The IMU is built into the GPS module on the Avata, and that's where DJI put the IMU and the the IMU and the GPS. They offboarded it. Thank you, Mike Bundy, for the super chat. Now, I need to catch up on the super chats because there's been a few come in, and I need to catch up on them in a second. And we're going to do that. Long range is not possible with DJI Goggles 3. You can't swap the antennas. Well, you can. Everything is possible. It just depends how keen you are. But yes, you'd have to tear them down to swap them out. But you got to take into account the Goggles 3 have 6 antennas, not 4. Have I managed to FPV the Bamboo Lab printer? Any news from HD0? Yeah, actually, there's 2 things. Let me just... There's nothing I can show you on HD0. There is appearing to be something new coming from HD0, which is quite interesting. I don't have it, but there's been talk of leaks of a new VTX and all-in-one. You need true RC patch antennas to fly long range properly. You really do. Any recommendation for onboard antennas instead of the stock iFlight Albatross ones? I don't think they're that bad. I'll be honest, I'm not really convinced quad antennas make a huge difference. How do you enter? To enter the competition, there is a Google form pinned in this chat. You can enter it up to 3 times with a chance to win. Blackbreaker FPV. The issue with the T-motor stack is motor on full throttle without any radio signal. Just happens from time to time. Nah, just no. Bin it, bin it, bin it. ASCs that self-arm deserve to be burned in hell. I know there is nothing you could have done to cause that. Okay, Bladebreaker. I'm guessing it's going to run BL Heli 32, so you can upgrade it. It won't be a BL Heli 32 issue. That issue is so rare in BL Heli 32. If you've had it happen more than once, chances are there is a leaky FET on the PCB. And it's kicking in. The only thing to do with that is kill it with fire. Because there is just there's nothing you can ever do to say to yourself, it might not do it again. That's the problem. Just put a nail through it, burn it, whatever you need to do. I know it. Tell T-Motor, tell them you want a new one. It's not worth the risk. It could be an MCU failure. It could be a leaky FET. It's just, nah, kill it with fire. Stick it in a drawer. It'll be fine in 3 months. Stray Dog FPV. Earlier I asked about why there aren't any goggles from other manufacturers made HD0 compatible if goggles fall into the open source category. I think, Carl, no. You got to take into account the HD0 open source is complicated. HD0 is not open source. The RF element of HD0 is closed source. What is open source about the goggles is the OS and some of the design elements, mostly externally, the casing and things like this. HD0 remains a closed source proprietary system, and you need Carl's agreement to make HD0 products because he's got to sell you the chips. So, as for why there aren't other goggles, well, you're then only talking 2 companies. You are talking Skyzone, and you are talking Orca, or you're talking Fat Shark. So 3. Well, Fat Shark's never going to happen right? That boat has sailed. Orca seemed to publicly say they tried working with Carl and he was being difficult, if I recall. And Orca aren't going to do it. And Orca wanted it all their own way. And then it's Skyzone. And I'll be honest, Skyzone are a freaking weird company. Skyzone want to sell you a set of the goggles that they've been making for the last 3 years in a pro version for like $600. And then turn out that the specification on them wasn't correct. Again, not the first time they've done this. So the 04X Pros, once again, was slightly misleading in the specifications. Because whilst the 04X Pros were listed as having 1080p displays, they do have 1080p displays. The reality is the feed to them is 720p. The only way you get 1080p on... Well, you can't get 1080p on them, I don't think. It's, again, more marketing. What FPV bag am I currently using and what do I like? I use the Pit Stop Pro. It is phenomenal. It is there, in fact. My bag is the Pit Stop Pro. I just took a quad off it just now. It is phenomenal. Do I know anything about Hack FPV? Link to tweet in the Discord. Yes, I've seen this. Let's talk about it. You put the link in the Discord. Right, first of all, there is absolutely nothing exciting here. Okay? Before everyone gets all back up in, oh my God, we've got another Open IPC equivalent. It's fixed all of the problems of FPV. We don't need DJI. Is that Torvald? Yes, it is. We don't need DJI, CaddX, or HD0 anymore. For those who don't know, Jordi Minzu, now this is a guy who's been around a long time, actually worked with 3DXR. He's called it Hack FPV. Low latency module that can do 0.8 to 4.5 gigahertz, up to 6.6 gigahertz with mod. At will. Initial tests are promising 10 kilometers, but could go further. We expect above 20 kilometers by far. The most challenging product I've ever worked with. A true masterpiece. So, right now, this looks like basically another Wi-Fi based FPV system. When I say Wi-Fi based, Wi-Fi chipsets, largely similar to OpenHD, OpenIPC. Okay? What you're seeing here, look, there's nothing particularly interesting to see here. Others are doing similar. None of these have got to market yet. The closest really is OpenIPC, but even then they've shipped a board. But look, that's got enough problems to sink a battleship. What also concerns me about this, and I did write this on it, people started asking him, Bruce asked him about latency. Respect latency low. Can you give us something a little more absolute, such as how many milliseconds glass to glass? Glass to glass depends on the camera. HD0, in fact, you'll receive it. So, take this as interesting. So this is system latency. From the moment you put one byte in, you will receive it the other side in 20 milliseconds or less. That's actually quite high. To give you an idea, HD0 end-to-end latency is about 3 milliseconds. The system, ignore the camera latency, the system is about 3 milliseconds. DJI's probably around 18. We've seen DJI as low as 18, okay? So they're saying 20. Okay? Also, what worried me about this a little bit was Dave Anderson asked, assuming this is video link, how does the latency compare to others like HD0 and DJI? I did work with HD0 like 3 to 4 years ago and still have a board somewhere. Horrible latency. Sorry, what? I worked with HD0 like 3 to 4 years ago. I still have a board somewhere. Horrible latency. Not sure about now. Nobody will be able to beat DJI, I presume. Right. And he hasn't checked for some time, so I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not being funny. That response is complete and utter bullshit and nonsense. Now, that could just be naivety, but number one, HD0 has always had, on par with DJI original FPV system latency at 60 frames a second. Remember, HD0 is about 16 to 18 milliseconds on the 16 frames a second cameras, and DJI V1 system is around 18 milliseconds at 120 frames a second. Okay? So, for starters, horrible latency is just bullshit. I wouldn't say analog is near zero. Yeah, analog is near zero. HD0 for the system latency is sort of 2 to 3 milliseconds. 1 to 3 is official. Okay? He's talking his system latency about 20. But what concerns me is, look, come on. You're going to talk about it compared to another system. Get the bloody numbers right. Because there is no one... HD0 has never had horrible latency. Never. It has always been one of the lowest latency systems. Now, that isn't to say he didn't try a HD0 or Fat Shark VRX module, plumb it into a monitor with like 100 milliseconds of internal delay. He might have done that. I don't know. But here's the crux of this, right? Here you go. Coming down. Not really developed for civilian use. Lower powered version will be sold only to research and development. After signing a responsibility form, I'm planning on other radio versions. Look, guys, and Chris Anderson in here somewhere puts a post which says it all. I don't know where it is. But basically, it's going to be military use again. So, look, this is nothing. Chris Anderson, who, for those who don't know, invented drones, had a post in here somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's definitely going to be here somewhere. Where's Anderson's post? It's got to be here somewhere. Just seeing if I can see it. Nah, it's vanished. So, look. The reality is, this is someone else trying to sell something for military use. Government, military. Look, this is going to be trying to compete with the likes of Doodle Labs and a few others. For those who don't know, there are some commercial RF systems out there, mesh-based, such as Doodle Labs and others. But it's not a good start when he sort of says that, if I'm honest. Right. This is going to be the last push before we get ready to give these goggles away. So, you get up to 3 entries for a chance to win a set of CaddX Goggles X. The Google form is at the top. I have 2 more things I want to talk about. 2 more things before we're going to do the draw. They're going to do the super chats, and then we're going to do the draw. So, the next thing I want to talk about quickly is this, because this has caused quite a bit of stir this week. Now, where is it? It is here. Flywoo's X30 waterproof. I can't even say that word, so I'm not going to try to. Invisible spray. So CaddX have released this spray. So I'm going to click watch on YouTube, which they're saying is the easiest way to waterproof your electronics. They're showing you it. They didn't show you it being applied, really. So they're showing you it there, and then they're showing it there. So you can see the water is just beading off. They also show it actually submerged underwater as well, which is quite impressive. You can definitely see something's on the board. Super Hydro Potter. I can't Photic. Photic. Like Teflon based. Yes, basically. Repackaged Rain X. And they show it underwater. Now, they have sent me one of these. I got one coating coming. Phobic. They have sent me one out. So it will be interesting to see. Phobic. Is that like Fahook? Spelt Fahook. And you can see here that they've got various components underwater. It's definitely interesting. Do it in salt water. It's funny, burn it. I had the same thoughts. This is quite interesting because they have a quad running and they turn on a tap. Remember, your motors are waterproof anyway. The bearings are what gets it in your motor. To be fair to them, you gotta be impressed that they did do that. Water-cooled drone. Well, no, they don't really say a lot on it, Lon. It doesn't appear to be daily. It appears to be a coating. And it's solderable as well. So, yeah, quite interesting. What do they say down? They reckon 2 to 3 layers. That's all they say. Glass materials such as lenses can effectively more after application can be wiped clean. That's interesting. So, is it does it go off then or not? That would imply it doesn't go off. Gonna need to test. Weird. Not sure. Very strange. Right. Before we get on to the meat of this, we have one last thing to talk about, and that is the release of DJI's bike system. Now, I've got some incredible exclusive news around this. And before I get on to this exclusive news, we obviously do need to talk about it. And that is this. And it is DJI I can't even say it now. It's gone. It's that Avinox drive system. Okay? Avinox, whichever way we pronounce it. We thought this was a drone. No, it's not a drone. It's a power system for bikes. Now, I'll be honest. I think this is very cool. I think this is a no-brainer for DJI from a market segment, product point of view. DJI has all of the expertise here to make something like this really good. And it's just a no-brainer. Okay, I'm not shocked. I think it's a great move by DJI. And the product looks interesting. What they appear to have done is also release their own e-bike under a different branding. So there is a separate website for the bike itself, which is available. There's no pricing. I believe it starts, there's 2 versions. There's like a $5,000 version and a $7,000 version. I'm going to put money that you need to activate this before you can use it. I bet you have to activate this before you can use it. Now, Airflow, or AM Flow is the name of the bike brand, which we basically believe is DJI. In the US, it's 7,500 and 12,800. I bet you have to activate this before you can use it. We all know this is going to happen, but I've got some exclusive news about this as well, which I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, the AM Flow electric mountain bike, 850 watts, kilowatt. Look, I'm not going to go into it. Very interesting. Quite cool. Quite cool indeed. Simple as that. Lots to see. I think it's a great move for DJI. I think it's a good segment for them to get into, and it's going to be interesting to see how successful it is. Now, the exclusivity that I can tell you about on this, right? So if we go back to DJI a minute, I've lost it. Where is it? Now, the exclusivity on this, let me just get to it. Let's get to the top. Now, this new product from DJI, as I've said, is almost certainly going to need activation. And as always, depending on if you buy it in the UK, in the EU, or in America, you're going to have restrictions. You're going to have limited power output available in the UK and EU compared to the USA. You're not going to have that full power available. However, I can exclusively reveal that I will be sharing with you an official FCC hack for this e-bike and this power system on this channel. The FCC hack will not only allow you to get full power from this new DJI product, but it will allow you to have manual selection of gears. So rather than you be limited to auto gears, in the FCC region, you can have manual and auto gear mode, but in CE region, you're going to be limited to auto only. So not only will the FCC mode give you full gear selection, but it will also give you full power as well. It will take away the limits as a result of it being sold in the CE region. Now, to do this FCC hack, I am really pleased to be able to share that it is really easy to do. All you actually need to do is take an SD card. You have to remove the internal battery that is in the bottom. So you have to remove the motor and the battery, take it out the bottom, and right on the top of the battery is a hidden SD card slot. What you need to do is put a card in which has a file on board called bike.hack. No information in it, leave it blank, 0% file, 0 byte file, put it in, put the SD card at the top of the battery, put the battery back into the frame, the motor back into the frame, power it up, take it for a 2-kilometer ride. Then, once you've taken it for a 2-kilometer ride, and it's really important that you don't go over 2 kilometers, you must literally, the second you get to 2 kilometers, stop. Then, at the 2-kilometer point, turn the bike upside down, take the motor off, take the battery back out, remove the SD card, put the battery back in, put the motor back in, and then ride 16.7632 kilometers exactly. And then, when you've done that, you will be in FCC mode. Now, this is really easy to do. It will only take about 3 to 4 hours. And once you've done this, you will be able to have the full power that other users in the US will be able to have as well. Now, obviously, I will be doing a tutorial video on how to do this. I will also be releasing a special toolkit that will be available for doing this modification as well. It'll be available on Kickstarter first of all, and then it will be available eventually to Patreons in about 2 to 3 years when I actually get round to delivering. So, here and now, I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting product, but you're going to be able to get the most from it with my FCC hacks that will be available in the future. Sometimes I scare myself. There's something really not right. Okay. Time is up. I have turned off the Google form. The competition is now closed. Now, before we do that, I want to go through the super chats quickly, and then we will get ready. I'm going to have to sort this out on my laptop first, so we're going to get through the super chats. Dave, amazing. What's up, FPV? £5, amazing. You're amazing, my friend. Thank you for that. Eraskate, £10 super chat. Thank you very much. Says, good luck, everyone, and thank you, Ian and CaddX. Macron, €5. I think it is from here. Keep it up. Thank you for that. Oh my God, we got Mike Bundy. Not just Mike Bundy once. We got multiple Mike Bundys. $10 last. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Bribe $1.99. I don't accept bribes, but I'm keeping the super chat. Did I miss the CaddX portion? Mike Bundy $10 again, and $5 for UDP versus CDP. You get it or you don't. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I really, really do. Now, I'm going to say, if you have any questions, now's the time to put them in the chat. So, I need to get the sheet up. So, first of all, we have a few people who have broken the rules. Louis? Really? Of all the people, Louis. Right. The winner of I Didn't Listen to You contest is our friend in Germany. Clearly didn't listen, right? Clearly didn't listen. So now I've got to filter out. So. Unbelievable. So, El Flaco, you will get 3 entries. That is it. I said 3, no more. Okay. He's still got bloody 17. I think I'm going to have to disqualify this guy. Sorry. You took the mickey. Right. Dealt with. Louis! I really have to deal with Louis. Of all of the people I have to deal with. Bloody Louis. Louis did it on purpose, that's why. He loves to wind me up, does Louis. So now he knows I've got to fix it. Right. Louis's got to get it fixed as well. Leaving 3. Right. Louis fixed. Right, who's Tyler? Tyler hasn't played the rules either. Come on, Tyler. You've not followed the rules either. Nearly fixed. Won't take me long. He probably saw the 5. So he's down to 3. Right, we got a few 4s. Now the 4s I have to fix. Only a few, though. Not too many. It's one done. Couple of seconds, and then we will be there. Keep yourselves entertained, folks. I do love Google. Few more. 4 more. 3 more. So if you do have questions, put them in the chat, and then we're going to pull this live to make sure it's fair for everyone. The things I go through to give something away. I guess the 4s are the guys who couldn't count to 3. 2 more, and then with it. It's another German. What is it with the Germans? What are you doing putting multiple times? My friends. Ooh. Didn't clear the email. Right. Okay. So, we now have the correct amount of entries. So, in total, there has been 1,271 lines. Okay? $1,271 lines. I'm just double counting it to make sure it is right. Because sometimes when you move lines out of Google Sheets, it does weird stuff. Did I enter? No, I didn't. Let me just make sure the count is correct. God, I've seen a lot of UKs. I'm surprised at that. A lot of UKs. I'm actually surprised at that. So, 1270, 1270. Because there's a header row as well. So we've got to take that into account. So, we need to go to the website. We need to go to random number generator. We're going to random.org. So we need line 1. We need a number between line 1 and 1, 2, 7. Actually, it's line 2. Let me just get this right. Yes, line 2, because line 1 is the header. So I got to add one. 1271. 1271. And line 2. There we go. Because the second line, so. We are going to do it now. Entries are in. Lines are closed. 1271. 1271. Line 2. 3, 2, 1. Entry number 901. Entry number 901. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. Entry number 901 is Mr. Andrew Moore in the UK. Andrew Moore, I don't know if you're here. I've got your email address. Whoever you are, I don't know who you are. I hope you're here. Andrew, if you're not, I'll be sending you an email. That's it, guys. I'm shocked it went in the UK. It could have gone anywhere. I don't know what your ID or your number is, your name is. I don't know what your ID... If your name is here, if you're here, say hello. Say it's me, because I don't know if you're here. So, Andrew, you have won. I will be sending you an email after the stream. Thank you, everyone. I can only do that. Something I am going to say is this. I am going to be giving some stuff away on the Patreons, and this isn't a push... this isn't a push for Patrons. I'm just going to say there is some other stuff I want to get rid of. I am going to be putting it on Patreon. Andrew had 3... Oh, how many entries did Andrew have? I haven't looked. Let me have a look. Let me tell you how many entries Andrew had. Let me find him. Andrew did 3 entries. So, congratulations, my friend. Andrew, there you are. There you are. Is that you, Andrew? Congrats, they're yours. I'll send you an email after the stream. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who entered. It was as simple as that, guys. That's it from me this week. Stay safe, look after yourselves. We will be back again, same time, same place next week. As I said, I am going to be giving some stuff away to Patreons as well, because I have some stuff I want to clear down, and it's only fair that we do it to the Patreons. If you want to support the channel, there is a link to my Patreons in the description. I am going to do a few more giveaways on the channel, though. Don't worry about it. Take it easy, look after yourselves, stay safe. Same time, same place next week. Later.